3 weeks into the season, the Los Angeles Chargers are in rare territory. Undefeated 3-0 for the first time in 23 years. And it's not just 3-0 overall, it's 3-0 inside the division. That matters. Now look, September records don't hand you trophies, but they do set the tone. And this one has shifted the entire outlook for Jim Harbaugh's team. The Chargers aren't just chasing playoff positioning anymore. They're staring at a Super Bowl window that's wide open, but here's the problem: injuries. That's the one thing that can derail this run. First, it was Rashawn Slater, then Khalil Mack, and now Najee Harris. One by one, star players and starters are dropping, and that changes the calculus. So the question becomes simple. How do the Chargers handle this moment? The league is watching carefully. To keep momentum alive, they may have to do something they've rarely done: make a move. Historically, this organization has been cautious. They value draft picks, they trust development, and they stay out of October headlines. But this year is different. They're winning. The window is here, and backups alone aren't going to replace what the starters brought. There's a reason they're backups. So let's get into it. Which trade options are actually on the table for the Chargers right now? And which ones could truly change the ceiling of this team? What's up, Chargers fans? Welcome to the NFL Playbook Chargers. If you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. This channel is all about breaking down everything you need to know about the Bolts. Let's start in the backfield, because Najee Harris's Achilles injury against Denver is massive. This isn't just a depth hit. This is a starter, a proven veteran gone for the year. Harris was supposed to stabilize the run game, take pressure off Justin Herbert, and fit perfectly in Greg Roman's system. Instead, now the keys are handed to rookie Omarion Hampton full-time. And Hampton has been promising. 129 yards from scrimmage and a touchdown in Week 3 against Denver, his breakout game. But we're talking about a 21-year-old, 3 games into his NFL career, expected to shoulder the load for 16 more games, plus a potential playoff run. That's too much. It's not about whether Hampton has talent. He clearly does. It's about sustainability. Workload catches up. Defenses adjust. And eventually, without a complement, you risk burnout or injury. That's why Alvin Kamara's name keeps popping up. The point is simple. The Saints are 0-3. They look lost. And even if they turn it around, it's not going to be fast enough to matter. They're a team on the verge of a sell-off, and Kamara is their biggest trade chip. What makes him a fit for the Chargers? It's versatility. Kamara isn't a one-dimensional runner. He's as comfortable splitting out wide and catching passes as he is taking handoffs inside. He thrives in space, he's dynamic, and he'd give Roman the exact kind of flexibility he loves to have in his offense. Now, think about how that pairs with Hampton. You'd suddenly have your own version of what Detroit's doing. 2 backs, 2 styles, both fresh, late in games. Hampton's the burst, the big play threat. Kamara's the veteran presence, the balance, the guy you can trust in pass pro or in the red zone. Together, that's not just filling Najee Harris's shoes, that's upgrading the backfield into a strength again. The question is price. Reports suggest Kamara could cost a 3rd-round pick. And on paper, that sounds steep for a 28-year-old running back. But let's be real. This team's 3rd-rounder isn't in the 60s. It's in the 80s or 90s. That's the cost of winning. If you're truly all in on this season, that's a pick you move without hesitation. Compare that to the alternatives: Gus Edwards, Jamal Williams, Zach Moss, Rashad White. Edwards has mileage, but no juice. Williams was a touchdown vulture in Detroit, but that's about it. Moss is serviceable. White is inconsistent. None of them raise your ceiling. Kamara does. So, if the Chargers are serious about contending, the Kamara move is the one that makes sense. He gives you balance, he gives you depth, and most importantly, he ensures Herbert doesn't have to carry this offense by himself. Now, let's flip to the defensive side of the ball. Khalil Mack is out, and while Tuli Tuipulotu is breaking out, there's no denying the hole in that rotation. And in today's NFL, you don't beat elite quarterbacks by having 1 or 2 pass rushers. You beat them by throwing waves. That's why Kayvon Thibodeaux's name from the Giants is starting to heat up. Look, they've already invested heavily in edge rusher, drafting Abdul Carter 3rd overall, trading for Brian Burns and giving him a 5-year extension. Thibodeaux, who they just used a top 5 pick on in 2022, suddenly looks like the odd man out. That doesn't mean he's underperforming. Quite the opposite. Through 3 weeks, Thibodeaux has 12 pressures, playing solid run defense and showing the flashes of why he was so highly touted. Last season, he put up 38 pressures and 6 sacks on limited snaps. He's young, he's disruptive, and he's under contract through 2026. That's not a rental. That's a core piece. The price? Likely a conditional third-round pick that could become a second. And again, that's a move you make. Because what he gives you is not just stopgap production while Mack is out. He gives you insurance if Mack doesn't come back at full strength. And if Mack does return, now you're rolling out a rotation of Mack, Thule, and Thibodeaux. That's nightmare fuel for offensive coordinators. That's how you recreate the Eagles model from last season, overwhelming opposing lines, hitting quarterbacks from every angle, wearing them down with depth. And Khalil Mack is not with the team for long term. You have to find a solution. And if you find it now, you'll be in prime position. And the beauty is, the timing lines up perfectly. The Chargers play the Giants in Week 4. You get to see Thibodeaux in real time. You get to evaluate not just the tape, but how he plays against your guys, how he fits into your vision. That's as close as you're going to get to a live audition before the trade deadline. So now step back and imagine, what does this team look like if they land both Kamara and Thibodeaux? Offensively, you've taken a devastating injury in Najee Harris and turned it into a two-headed monster backfield. Hampton plus Kamara isn't just sustainable, it's dangerous. Defensively, you've turned a weakness into a strength, with a pass rush rotation that can go toe-to-toe with anybody in football. Those aren't just depth moves, those are season-defining moves. Now, to be fair, the Chargers' foundation is already strong. This offensive line is ranked 5th by PFF, and rookie Joe Alt is already grading as one of the best tackles in the league. Zion Johnson just played the best game of his career, neutralizing Zach Allen and proving he's growing into a top 10 guard. Greg Roman has made smart adjustments in the run game, leaning into counters, pin and pull, and getting Alt moving in space on crack tosses. The quick game is back, Herbert is comfortable, and Keenan Allen continues to be that reliable option in critical moments. On defense, Derwin James looks revitalized. Harbaugh called him the best football player he's ever been around, and it shows. He's playing with juice, he's versatile, and he's setting the tone every snap. Thule Tuipulotu is showing why people were so high on him. He's added moves to his arsenal, winning consistently and looking like a long-term star. Unsung guys like Justin Herbert and Benjamin Saint-Just are flashing in limited roles. This is a deep roster, and it's well coached. But here's the reality. Depth only gets you so far when stars go down. Harris is gone. Mack is sidelined. That's why the trade conversation isn't just hypothetical, it's necessary. If they don't make a move, they're betting on Hampton to handle an impossible workload, and they're betting on Caleb Murphy and Thule to carry the entire edge rotation for weeks. That's a dangerous bet when the margin between contender and favorite is razor thin. So, should the Chargers go all in on big-name trades? The answer depends on whether you believe windows are permanent. I don't. They're fragile. They close faster than you think. Harbaugh has this team believing Herbert is in his prime, the defense is nasty, the division is already tilting their way. This is the moment to be bold. Because the only thing worse than overpaying for a shot at a Super Bowl is sitting on your hands and watching that shot disappear.